Managing his new life felt like walking on a tightrope. On the surface, nothing had changed, but inside, everything was different. Balancing his old routine with his secret wealth was harder than he expected. Every day, he had to remind himself to stay cautious, to blend in, and to avoid drawing attention. At work, he continued doing his tasks quietly, never showing signs that he no longer needed the job. When his boss scolded him for small mistakes, he swallowed his pride and apologized, just like before. He resisted the urge to quit, knowing that suddenly leaving would only make people suspicious. Instead, he carefully maintained the illusion of being the same struggling employee they had always known, and that meant staying invisible for just a little longer. No matter how carefully he planned, setbacks were inevitable. Mistakes were bound to happen, and he had to learn from them before they turned into bigger problems. One evening, while making a routine deposit at the bank, he absent-mindedly deposited more cash than usual. As he handed the money over, he noticed the bank teller's curious glance. It was subtle, but enough to make his heart race. He quickly composed himself, acting as if nothing was unusual, but the small mistake haunted him for days. Had he drawn attention to himself? Would they start asking questions? After that, he became even more cautious, reminding himself that patience was key. He couldn't afford to get comfortable, no matter how much progress he had made. The system had given him tools to succeed, but it was still up to him to use them wisely. Another time, he let his guard down during a conversation with an old friend. They were talking casually when he accidentally mentioned something about investments and future plans. His friend raised an eyebrow and asked, "Since when do you think about things like that?" He quickly laughed it off, saying he had just been reading articles online. But deep down, he knew he had been careless. That moment taught him a valuable lesson. He needed to think before he spoke. Even the smallest slip-up could make people curious, and curiosity was the last thing he needed. From then on, he chose his words carefully, never revealing too much and always keeping his real plans to himself. Despite these setbacks, he realized they weren't failures, they were lessons. Each mistake showed him the areas where he needed to be more careful, more disciplined. He started paying closer attention to his actions, making sure he didn't repeat the same errors. He also learned that not every opportunity was worth pursuing. In his eagerness to grow his wealth, he once invested in an online scheme that seemed promising. The system had warned him about high-risk investments, but his excitement got the better of him. Days later, he realized it was a scam, and he lost a small portion of his money. Instead of feeling defeated, he took it as a lesson. Every setback is a step forward if I learn from it, he reminded himself. From that moment on, he double-checked every opportunity, never rushing into decisions without thorough research and careful thought. Through it all, he understood that success wasn't just about having money, it was about knowing how to handle setbacks without losing sight of the bigger picture. Mistakes were part of the process, and each one made him smarter, stronger, and more prepared for what lay ahead. Sitting in his apartment one night, he reflected on how far he had come. Yes, he had made mistakes, but he had also grown from them. And as long as he kept learning, he knew he was on the right path. Failures didn't define him, his response to them did. He wasn't just relying on luck anymore, he was making strategic moves based on knowledge and planning. Every successful deal, every smart investment brought him closer to a future he had once thought impossible. Sitting back in his chair, he looked at the system with a newfound sense of appreciation. It wasn't just helping him make money, it was helping him build a better life. And for the first time, he felt like he was truly in control of his destiny. He knew there were even bigger opportunities waiting ahead. And with the system guiding him, he was ready to find them one careful step at a time. With each successful step he took, his confidence grew. He no longer felt like the struggling, uncertain person he once was. The system had given him tools to succeed, but it was his careful decisions and determination that were truly shaping his future. He started walking with a quiet sense of purpose, no longer avoiding eye contact or fearing judgment from others. He had something they didn't, and knowledge, opportunity, and a plan. The whispers and doubts that once haunted him didn't hold the same power anymore. But confidence alone wasn't enough. Challenges still came his way, testing his patience and resilience. Some investments didn't work out as planned, and not every opportunity turned into a success. There were times when his doubts resurfaced, moments when he wondered if he was truly on the right path. One such challenge came when he tried to expand his investments. A promising deal that seemed too good to pass up turned out to be riskier than he expected. The pressure of making the right decision weighed heavily on him. For a moment, he felt the old fear creeping back, the fear of losing everything. But instead of panicking, he took a step back and analyzed the situation carefully. The system had taught him patience, and now he understood that not every opportunity was meant to be taken. He walked away from the deal, realizing that playing it safe was better than rushing into something he wasn't ready for. Each obstacle he faced became a learning experience. Whether it was handling financial setbacks, managing his time, or keeping his success hidden, he found ways to adapt and stay focused. The struggles of his past had taught him resilience. And now, armed with knowledge, he was better equipped to handle anything that came his way. The biggest change, however, wasn't just in his ability to overcome challenges, it was in how he viewed himself. He was no longer just trying to survive, he was working towards a future he believed in. The same people who once looked down on him now saw someone different, someone who carried himself with quiet strength and determination. Despite his growing confidence, he remained cautious. He knew success could be fleeting, and one wrong move could undo everything. That's why he continued to stay humble, taking each day as it came and focusing on steady growth rather than quick gains. One evening, as he reviewed his progress, he felt a sense of pride. He had come a long way, not just financially but mentally. He had learned that confidence wasn't about showing off or proving others wrong, it was about believing in himself and staying true to his goals.